Hello everybody, welcome to Glass Half Dead, and today we are looking at extras for the game, how you can improve the game outside of the game. So the first thing we're going to talk about is wire binding your core rulebook. So obviously I got this done. I saw somebody on Facebook, on the Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team, one of those various pages, had got it done. I think they did it on Reddit as well, and I was like, you know what? That looks pretty cool. But then somebody at my local game shop got theirs done at somewhere local, and I was like, oh, that's really good. It was seeing it in person that really sold it to me, and I have to say, I'm loving it. With that said, I decided to get both the core book and commanders bound together, okay? I'm not 100% sure I would do that again. Don't get me wrong, I got this done because I think Commanders is awesome, and I genuinely think that Commanders should be a main part of the game. However, it does make it quite a thick book. We see that. That's pretty chunky. Do we have anything? We can compare this to one standard Guardian. There you go. It's almost as tall as a Guardian. It is, in fact, the perfect height for some Kill Team terrain. With that said, I would, if I were to do this again, I would actually make a few changes. First things first, I would ask for a front and back cover to be applied, just something see-through and plastic, just to protect your actual cover. Okay, so look, if you just want a single book, then yep, do it this way, but add a front and back cover. However, an idea, have them cut the spines off. So once you have the spines cut off, you might want to consider breaking the book down into three separate parts. One is fluff, one is rules, one is factions. Now, feel free to combine the fluff, rules, and factions of all three of the books, or just core and commanders. No issues with that. For example, when I like that the fluff is in this book, that's great. However, I don't need the fluff with me at all when I go to the local game store, let's be honest. And equally, when I'm looking through the game, I either need to know what's the weapon skill on my Cavalite Warrior, right? I don't need to dig through the whole of the missions and the rules section to find that. So I propose, anybody out there, get the book or both books split into three parts. Fluff, rules, including missions, and factions. There you go. Now, I got this done at a place in London, just outside King's Cross Station, called Nevex. Shout out to them, just because they were the only ones I could find that did it. Everybody had claimed that, oh, just phone up your local copy shop and they will do it for you. But I phoned up 4 or 5 in my local village, town, whatever it's called, and they all said they didn't do it. Or they could, but they didn't do spiral or wire binding. They did a different type that only had a plastic spine, and it was like, I'm okay, thanks. It's very simple. You take your books, you go into the shop, they cut the spines off for you. Yeah. And then they give them back to you if you want, and then they bind it for you. Of course, what you will want to do this time is have them cut the spines off for you. You rearrange the pages yourself, okay? And again, I highly recommend fluff, rules, factions, plus front and back covers for each. Then they will bind those books up for you. This cost me £5 and took 10 minutes while I waited. Best £5 I have ever spent on this game, frankly, to be entirely honest with you. Obviously, I get extra benefit out of it because I often need to open the book up for this YouTube. But even if I didn't, this is actually still really good. Just because you can do this. And if you're like me, you might be a little bit anal retentive about people bending the spine on your book. Well, you know what, this way, I broke the spine myself. And there you go. Now nobody else can break the spine. I've done it. Cool. However, you can probably get this done at your local place. If you're in America, I know that Kinko's does it, or Office Depot, is that a place? I'm not American, I don't really know. I know Kinko's will do it. In England, some people say that Staples will do it. If you still happen to have if you're one of those like 2 people that has a Staples left near you. Otherwise, apparently Ryman's will do it. But my local Ryman didn't pick up the phone to answer whether or not they would do it. And so screw them, they're not getting a shout out. But if you're in London, Nevex, go for them. Again, I've never had to use them before, but they did this for a £5 while I waited. How can I complain about that? And they are literally a 2-minute walk from a tube station. Can't complain with that. There you go. Next up, dice. So I'm going to make this very quick because I have done dice before. I'm going to say it now. I do not like the Games Workshop dice. I think they are genuinely bad. And they do not roll accurately. Casino dice, however, do. Now, these are my regular. These are my regular casino dice. As you can see, they are actually ex-casino dice. This was from a place called Palace Station Hotel and Casino. And so is this one. There you go. They roll beautifully. They actually... So this is going to sound odd, but they're heavy. Right? They're heavy and they're sharp and they're clunky. And when you roll them, they feel good. Okay? They feel good to roll. Games Workshop dice are very light. And you can tell when they roll. You really have to just pick up a set of casino dice and feel how they roll, to be honest with you. These are the ones that I use on a regular basis. Blue and green. These are all the ones I don't use. Because I managed to find these. These are not ex-casino dice. These are just new dice. So, for example, let me show you. So these are new dice that would go to a casino. But instead of going to a casino, you could just buy them straight off. I got them off eBay. There you go. And the advantage of these is they've never been rolled before. And they also don't have the branding of the other dice. There you go. I think they cost me £10 for 5. Now, yes, I'm aware that's very expensive for dice. Obviously, I bought a lot. But you never need to buy more than one. One pack, 5. You're not going to need to roll more than that, probably. Again, I would never, ever consider these for main 40k. But for Kill Team, these are perfect dice. Continuing with dice. A dice cube. Now, these are, of course, Games Workshop dice, and specifically, these are Dire Avenger dice. I went with these because, as you know, I'm collecting Azarani at the moment, and so you've got to get all in, haven't you? You can't do things half-hearted and, I don't know, not spend all of your life savings. That would be weird. And I went with the Dire Avenger colours because I like blue and yellow. There you go. I will never roll these dice. Unless for some bizarre reason I have to. But I wouldn't trust them. However, these are perfect for wound markers. There you go. That's what these are. Wound markers. Because, as you may have noticed, the core game doesn't really come with any way to track your wounds or your flesh wounds. But these do that perfectly. Also, as you can see, I have written numbers on the sides so that I can use this as a turn counter. Always count your turns, guys. Pro tip there. Over the years, I have used many different measuring implements. However, I actually think this is pretty good. Yeah. You can get it cheaper from a hardware store. But this is fun. And to be clear, when you pull it out, it stays where it is. And when you want to retract it, you push down on the button, it comes back in. And that is how you want your tape measure to work. And finally, this. So, as you know, I go a little bit too far with things, probably. And these are metallic tokens and metallic data cards. Now, as you can tell, I got these in a vaguely Azarani type theme because that's what I'm trying to do. These could have come in an Azarani theme as well. Any theme that get done on these can be done on them. Now, these are done by a company called Warforged Studios. I say company, it's very grandiose. I think he's just a guy that has a printing machine. So obviously it's just a very thin metal, but the big trick to it is that it's wipe off. So you can just write in your guy. You know, what would you call an Eldar? Laneth. Lanethan. That's him. You know, movement 7, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, weapons. What's he got? Shuriken pistol. Unfortunately, this is quite thick. I'd probably want a smaller one to write all of these in. And then, you know, oh, he's got a flesh wound. Another. But then he lived, obviously. Spec, comms. You know, oh, he's convalescing. Whatever, okay? And that, to me, is pretty cool. But also, just wipe it off. There you go. Go again. I've decided now his name is Bob. No. Now, Warforged Studios does a whole load of different designs. Obviously, they are distinctly not 40k, because that would be breaking IP rules. But, yeah. I'm pretty happy with these. One of the reasons I got these is because I like accessories, obviously. And also, I wanted to really dive into a kill team and make one my own. I've decided to do that with the Azarani. And so I wanted to get something that kind of reflects how invested in them I am. And I think these do a really good job. I'm really happy with this, with the data sheets, print-offs. Those are top-notch. I would happily buy them again. These tokens, I'm not as pleased with, I'll be honest. Like, these tokens work perfectly. So the big advantage to these tokens is that they have much clearer markings than some of the kill team tokens. So this, okay, he fought that turn. That's obvious. He moved that turn. That's obvious. I don't know what that means. Why do we have a skull? But you know what? He skulled that turn. That's obvious. That's a power button. Okay, well, I don't know about that one. He charged that turn. That's obvious. And, you know, and that one, he advanced that turn. Whatever. I like these. In general, I prefer them to the standard kill team tokens. However, when I heard that I was going to be getting... I'm okay with them being blank on one side. That's no problem. But they are very flimsy. They kind of... like, they're almost flimsy enough to float. Don't get me wrong, they're never going to break. Nothing like that. And, you know, they're not going to bend easily either. But, purely me, I had wanted something a bit thicker. I believe I don't have a caliper to hand, actually. But I think these are, what, 1 mil? 1 mil thick aluminium would be my guess. Honestly, if you'd gone 2 or 3 mil, they'd be much chunkier and just really have a weight to them. And as I just pointed out with the dice, I like things with weight behind them. But, in general, actually, these weren't too bad price-wise. I can't remember what they were, but I remember that they were steel. And if you're already dedicated enough to buy these, adding an order of this to the order, no issue. And that's it, guys. those are the 3, 4, 5 things that I think really add to the game outside of the game. Obviously, the big one for me was the binding. I think everyone should get this done. I genuinely don't see a reason to not do it. For any Warhammer game, in fact, whether you're doing Kill Team, Necromunda is a big one as well, because they have expansions released and you need both, and yeah, and Blood Bowl, etc. Get it bound, guys. Now this is wire binding. Spiral binding is also acceptable. However, I prefer wire. There you go. No particular reason, I just do. And that's it. Yeah. I hope you've enjoyed this little rundown of all the fancy things you can get for Kill Team. I would advise checking it out. This was provided by Nevex in London. This was provided by Warforged Studios. I believe he's English chap, but he will ship internationally, but you're going to pay for that. Dice, they're off eBay. And that's just Warhammer. And that's Warhammer as well. But there you go. A few things you can consider to enhance your game outside of the game. I've certainly enjoyed purchasing all of these. That's a really weird way to phrase it. I've certainly enjoyed using and having all of these. I haven't enjoyed spending money to get them. That's not how life works. Okay. Anyway, I would highly recommend all of you to do the same. Check them out. I will have links for Warforged Studios and Nevex in the comments below. Not the comments, the description below. And check them out if you think anything there interests you. Don't forget that the Warforged Studios, lots of different designs. I went with Eldar because I'm creating a little Eldar army. So there you go. Okay, everybody, this has been Glass Half Dead. It's November, the 11th month. You know, it's the centenary of World War One. Everyone support your local poppy appeal and all that stuff. I highly recommend it. It's a good cause going out there, helping veterans, etc. And that's it. This is Glass Half Dead. Hoping you've all had a great day and are going to continue to have a great day. Glass Half Dead, logging off.